to today's episode of The Daily Blend. I am your host, AC, and we are joined in studio today by Steven Mack, who is the owner of Simple Solutions Fitness. How are you, Steven?
Not too bad. How about yourself?
I'm pretty good. Okay, Steven, let's talk about fitness and working out, but in a manner that's not intimidating or scary to people.
Yeah.
Like, how do we make it not intimidating to folks?
So really, when you're putting together a fitness program, there's all sorts of things that people will respond to. The thing that I like to start with is what feels approachable to you. Like, I'm not going to hold you to a 5-day-a-week expectation if you've really got 2 days. Mm-hmm. So if that's, starting with walking, stretching, maybe strength training, you could do that on your own or with a personal trainer. It just kind of depends on your comfort level. Mm-hmm. I usually try to stick to like, what's the research need for a threshold and just kind of go from there.
Mm-hmm. So if I am somebody who has not worked out in a while, sometimes the thought of going into like a fitness space, a gym space is kind of like, it's like, oh, I haven't worked out. I'm not going to be as fit as the other people who are in the room. Like, we play these mental mind games with ourselves. It's like, I'm talking about myself, like anything to keep me from actually doing it and making the commitment. But I'm sure that you have thought in your training, there are ways to make this feel more approachable to people who are thinking just like me.
Yeah, and I've definitely worked with counseling psychologists to learn a little more about motivation and how it actually works. Mm-hmm. One popular theory is self-determination theory. It states that everybody needs autonomy, some say in the things they're doing. Mm-hmm. You want to feel competent, like you actually want to feel competent at things that you care about. Yeah. Because everybody's got something that they're good at and they're kind of like, I don't know, I've just always played music or something like that. And then there's relatedness, which is the most mixed. It's the shared sense of meaning. With autonomy, competence, and relatedness, you can think about, you don't want to feel like you suck at everything. Right. Start with something that feels approachable because you can always make it more difficult. So if that's strength training, the research is twice a week. You want to hit each muscle group at least twice. That might mean squatting, lunging, upper body pushing and pulling. It can start with body weight. It can start with something at home, and then it can progress to the gym. Or if you feel more comfortable in that environment, I would start there because, like I said, you can always kind of add to that.
Yeah. I like what you said about, finding something. Nobody wants to feel like they suck at stuff, right? Yeah. So I don't want to go to the gym and get told by my trainer, oh, do this, and I cannot do any of the things that they tell me to do, because then I'm not motivated.
Unfortunately, yeah, that's actually the sign of a bad trainer.
I thought so.
Yeah, there's something in research, there's something in literature known as an introductory microcycle. What that means is basically you'd start off with, say we're like, hey, let's do 10 sets of squats this week to make progress. You don't have to start at 10. You could drop a couple sets, say maybe 8. Or if you're going to use 10 pounds, you could try 5 pounds or 8 pounds. Usually they say just 5 to 10% lighter is what the literature says. Okay. But really you'd start with that easy thing for a week or two, knowing that you're going to step things up, because your goal is just to make progress. And that doesn't mean you have to hit your ceiling. So I'd start with something where you feel a little sore the next day because you've done something novel, meaning you haven't done it in a while, or it's a new exercise, or you've meaningfully increased your volume, say going from 10 reps to 15 or from 2 sets to 3 sets. And if you're sore when you move, we're not entirely sure what that means. It's not necessarily useful, but it's a normal amount. If you're ever sore to the touch, it's a sign that you've done a little too much. So maybe next time you might try to back off a little bit and kind of keep approaching it from there.
Okay, because we don't have to be record breaking every time we go in the gym, right?
No, and that's probably not sustainable anyway.
Probably? It's not.
Depends on the type of day you're trying to have.
No, I'm never trying to have that type of day. Let me just say, I don't ever want to be sore to the touch. I have been sore the next day, but for me, that's almost like a badge of accomplishment. Like, I did something that I haven't done in a while. I worked some muscles maybe that I haven't used in a while, which always feels nice to me coming from a workout, because I know what I use every day. Yeah. That don't hurt at all.
Well, like I was kind of saying though, they don't entirely, because you can make progress and not feel sore. Okay. So if you're sore, it's useful information, but it might not necessarily be an indicator of progress that some people look for. That's actually something that can lead people astray, because they feel like they start working out, they're getting stronger, they're seeing progress, but they don't feel sore anymore. So they think something needs to change about their routine. And that's not necessarily true. If you're making progress, you shouldn't change anything.
Very good. So I hear about people. So if I'm coming to you and I'm strictly saying, like, I want to lose weight, I want to tone, like, obviously I know that my diet is what, 80% of that? I mean,
honestly, I think a part of fitness, the big problem with it is nutrition. Because
Yeah.
a lot of trainers will give out diet advice, and really you can give out legally, you can give out basics like, hey, the recommended dietary allowance is eating 0.36 grams of protein per pound per day. So if you weigh 100 pounds, and that's per gram. If you weigh 100 pounds, that'd be 36 grams.
Okay.
Now, I'm not going to go much further than that, because typically if someone spent their entire life studying something, they know everything about it. You should really just talk to a dietitian.
I understood.
The problem, though, is access, because not
Yeah.
everybody can see their doctor as often as they like, or
True.
a dietitian. But yeah, I'd usually start with, I keep strength training, and then refer somebody to a food expert, I guess, if you will.
So you'll go ahead and just be like, let me just refer you to a dietitian if you really
Yeah.
want to get deep into that and do something other than Dr. Google.
Yeah, and Bamboo Nutrition's a great partner in that here in Columbia. I know when it comes to a lot of stuff you'll find on Google, there's a lot of mixed information, and they're really good at putting that into context. That's even what your trainer's for, because
Yeah.
there's tons of programs
Oh
you
my
might get
gosh.
good results with.
Yeah, it is. And I mean, I'm a victim. Like, I've used Google sometimes to the detriment, because there's so much information that you don't really, and there's a lot of competing information, even when it comes to what's a good workout plan or a good, this diet, that diet. There's so much information. So it's nice to have a local source that you can go to and find some things out.
Yeah, man. Just
Now,
strength training.
do you do group classes? Are you doing one-on-one? What's your format like?
So we focus on semi-private, which kind of goes back to that relatedness that I mentioned.
Okay.
Semi-private, or small group as people more commonly call it, they're actually different, but there's not a specific definition.
Okay.
That's 1 to 5 people in a room at a time. So you get a little bit of that relatedness.
Sure.
There's like other people there. But we do offer some one-on-one for people that are interested in that.
Okay, I like that. I kind of like the semi-private, you know what I mean? Because you're not in a wide group,
Yeah.
but then you get to know people as well. So I like that. Okay, Steven, thank you. I appreciate you coming by to talk to us a little bit about fitness, and we hope people look you up at Simple Solutions Fitness.